I think there's a lot of unique things about Alaska. The first being the boundaries. It's not just the state of Alaska, as you would know by looking at your call packet. It includes a sliver of Canada, which is the Yukon Territory, which that territory itself is actually larger than the state of California. So it's not just a sliver. So the missionaries that go there actually have to get visas and cross the border, and it's a blast. The church is actually really strong in Alaska. You'd be surprised. I think behind California, Arizona, Utah, Idaho, I think it's like the 5th most populated state with members, as in percentage of population. So of the 700 to 800,000 people, there's about 30,000 members. And that equates to about 7 stakes, and that equates to 7 zones in your mission. There's a temple in Anchorage. It's currently the 2nd smallest temple in the world. It was the smallest until they built a little awning that was heated for everybody to walk through and put their shoes off, take their shoes off. So it's absolutely tiny. It's right next to the mission home, so you actually get a chance to go to the temple quite a few times on your mission if you ask, and if you'd like, you go at least once a quarter, more if you ask. I guess another thing that's unique to the Alaska mission, I would imagine, is the way transportation occurs for transfers. There's about 130, 140 missionaries when I was there for my 2 years, and you could get transferred by car, by jumbo jet, like an airliner. You could get transferred by a bush plane. You could get transferred by a seaplane. Or you could get transferred by in a ferry. And so there's a lot of different ways you get transferred, and I got the privilege to be transferred by every single one of them. And those are all exciting experiences. No dog mushing, I'm sorry. That's unfortunate. It's everybody's dream, but you don't get transferred by dog. Yeah, in the mission itself, there's quite a few languages. Missionaries are called to speak English, they're called to speak Spanish, they're called to speak Tongan, Samoan, Hmong. We had a couple Russian-speaking elders when I was there, and a couple ASL elders when I was there. And then there's missionaries that get called from the Philippines to speak Tagalog. So, contrary to what you might believe, there's a lot of minorities in Alaska, and most of the reason that there are those minorities is because of work and jobs in Alaska. The oil fields are huge, fishing is huge, tourism is huge. So there's actually a large population of Polynesians in Anchorage and in Juneau. The church was introduced, if my memory serves me right, during the gold rush, the Alaska gold rush. There was an elder of the church who went up to, I believe it was Nome, to go and pan for gold and hunt for gold, and he was the only member of the church in the state. And so while he was up there, he started sharing the gospel and started a little branch. And after a little while, the church headquarters took notice, and so they ended up sending missionaries out to go and dedicate the area of Alaska for the purpose of missionary work. And there's a plaque down in Juneau, actually, on the side of a mountain where that actually occurred, where they said that dedicatory prayer. And it's really cool. One of the things that I think is awesome about it is that they bless the waters so that Satan can't have power over it, so that missionaries can be safe in their travels and helping other people. And it's really significant because you travel by boat sometimes, and you even teach people on the water. It's been growing like wildfire in Alaska. You can expect to teach tons. The people are just so ready. Alaska, as you'll know from U.S. history, was actually purchased from Russia for super cheap. Best deal the U.S. ever made on land. And as a result, the prominent religion of the indigenous people, or the natives, the Alaska Natives as they're called, is Russian Orthodox. So they're very orthodox in their beliefs, and there's a lot of like tribal and indigenous religions there. Yeah, unless you go to Whitehorse, unless you go to Canada, Yukon, you should call those people First Nations, because if you call them Alaska Natives, they'll be really offended. Canada believes in political correctness, and so they're called First Nations.